In the early morning hours of April 12, 1981, deep in the quiet mountain town of Keddie, something unspeakable happened inside a small wooden cabin. There were no screams heard. No frantic calls for help. Just silence. Hours later, that silence would be shattered by a horrifying discovery, a scene so brutal, so confusing, that even seasoned investigators would struggle to explain it. 3 people brutally murdered. 1 young boy missing. And yet, in the rooms just feet away, 3 children slept through it all. How does something like that happen? How can a crime so violent leave behind so few answers? And why, more than 4 decades later, does this case still refuse to be solved? This is the story of the Keddie Cabin Murders, one of the most chilling unsolved mysteries in American history. The deep storytelling to understand what happened that night, we need to go back to the people at the center of it all. Sue Sharp was a single mother trying to build a new life for her family. In late 1980, she moved her 5 children to the quiet resort town of Keddie, nestled in the forests of Northern California. They rented Cabin 28, a modest home in a community where neighbors knew each other, and crime was almost unheard of. Sue's daughter, Sheila Sharp, was just 14 years old. Her sons included 15-year-old John Sharp and 12-year-old Rick Sharp. The youngest, Greg Sharp, was only 5. Living nearby was Sue's friend, Dana Wingate, a teenage boy who often spent time with the family. On April 11, 1981, everything seemed normal. Sheila was staying overnight at a friend's house. Inside Cabin 28, Sue, John, Dana, and the younger boys settled in for the evening. There was nothing unusual. No sign that this would be their last night together. But sometime between late night and early morning, something went terribly wrong. The next day, around 8 a.m., Sheila returned home. What she found inside Cabin 28 would haunt her for the rest of her life. Her mother, Sue, her brother John, and her friend Dana, were dead. The living room was a nightmare. Furniture overturned. Blood everywhere. The victims had been bound, beaten, and brutally murdered. And yet, in a back bedroom, Rick, Greg, and their friend Justin slept peacefully through the entire attack. No forced entry. No clear signs of a struggle that would have alerted the rest of the house. And one more chilling detail: 12-year-old Tina Sharp was gone. Vanished without a trace. The cold case clues from the beginning, the Keddie Cabin Murders, baffled investigators. The crime scene itself was chaotic, yet strangely controlled. Sue Sharp had been gagged with medical tape. An extension cord and wires were used to bind the victims. A hammer and knife were believed to be the weapons. But there were inconsistencies. Some evidence appeared staged. Others simply didn't make sense. One of the strangest clues came from a letter sent weeks after the murders. It hinted at the possibility that Tina Sharp was still alive, but offered no proof. Then there was Justin, the young boy who had slept through the killings. Initially, he claimed he had seen 2 men in the cabin that night. Men he described in disturbing detail. But later, his story changed. Some believed he had been traumatized. Others thought he knew more than he was saying. Investigators also discovered a mysterious phone call made from the cabin after the estimated time of death. Who made that call? And why? The biggest mystery, however, remained Tina. For 3 years, there was no sign of her. Then, in 1984, her remains were discovered nearly 50 miles away in a remote area near Feather Falls. How she got there, and what happened to her, remains unclear. Perhaps most disturbing of all were the investigative failures. Evidence was mishandled. Leads were ignored. Potential suspects were never fully pursued. Some reports suggest that crucial information was lost, or even deliberately overlooked. One suspect, in particular, stood out: Marty Smart. He lived nearby. He had a violent past. And according to some accounts, he had made disturbing statements about the murders. Another man, Bo Bubade, was also linked to the case. Witnesses claimed to have seen him near the cabin around the time of the murders. But despite these leads, no one was ever charged. The case went cold. And the questions only grew louder. Mid-video engagement: if you're finding this case as disturbing and fascinating as it truly is, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Shadow Files, and share it with someone who loves unsolved mysteries. Because the more people who hear these stories, the closer we might get to the truth. The theories: over the years, several theories have emerged to explain what happened inside Cabin 28. The first is the most straightforward: a targeted attack. Some believe Sue Sharp knew her killers. That this was not random, but personal. The level of violence suggests anger, possibly revenge. If Marty Smart or Bo Bubade were involved, it could point to a dispute that escalated into something far darker. But then, why spare the younger children? Why take Tina? That leads to the second theory: a kidnapping gone wrong. Perhaps Tina was the intended target. The murders may have been a means to silence witnesses. But if that's true, why such extreme brutality? And why leave behind so much evidence? The third theory is even more unsettling: multiple attackers. The crime scene suggests more than one person may have been involved. The bindings, the positioning of the bodies, the lack of noise, it's possible this was a coordinated act. Which raises an even darker possibility: that the killers planned this carefully and knew exactly what they were doing. Then there's the theory that refuses to go away: the paranormal angle. Some locals have claimed that Cabin 28 was haunted long before the murders. Others say strange occurrences continued even after the crime. While there's no concrete evidence to support this, the sheer inexplicability of the case has led some to believe that something beyond human understanding may have been at play. It's a theory that's easy to dismiss, until you realize there are still no answers. The ending today: Cabin 28 no longer stands. It was demolished in 2004, as if someone wanted to erase the memory of what happened there. But you can't demolish a mystery. You can't tear down the questions that still linger in the air. Who killed Sue Sharp, John Sharp, and Dana Wingate? What really happened to Tina Sharp? And how did 3 children sleep through one of the most violent crimes in California history? More than 40 years later, the Keddie Cabin Murders remain unsolved. A case frozen in time. A story without an ending. And a reminder that sometimes the most terrifying mysteries are the ones that never get solved. If you want more deep dives into cases just like this, don't forget to like, subscribe to Shadow Files, and share this video. Because the truth is out there, and we're not done searching for it.